Heading out west, we're going to take a look at the Los Angeles Chargers. A competent season. They made the playoffs, potentially enough to save Staley his job. Tom, do you think making the playoffs is a case of it's almost bad for this offense? The fact that this skill position core is starting to age. Maybe they needed a little bit of a reset around Justin Herbert moving forward.
I'm not sure I quite agree, because I think last year when they missed out on going to the playoffs in that kind of crazy game, which came down to the last seconds, that was something that hurt them quite a lot. I mean, you heard a lot of talk about Brandon Staley's coaching methods and was it the right way to go, relying on analytics. And this year they've got there, but it hasn't been the Chargers that we kind of hoped in some ways. I mean, Justin Herbert was being drafted as the QB2 on Underdog at the end of the offseason. He's being drafted as the QB7 in really early best ball drafts at the minute, and I think that's probably kind of where people are going to end up on him. But between his rib injury, between the injuries to Keenan Allen, which kept him out for most of the first 8, 9, 10 weeks, Mike Williams, who never will stay completely healthy, you can make a case that if everybody was healthy, we could see a much higher ceiling from these guys. But as it has been, they've had to rely so much on Austin Ekeler, and that's seen that Justin Herbert's ADOT go right down to 6.4. I can't imagine that stays that low. That's really low. And it would be crazy not to see his ADOT get back above 7 next year if he's fully healthy.
It feels like a player with the talent, in the arm talent and the skill set that Justin Herbert has. He should be, pushing the ball downfield and having an ADOT approaching 8, if not 9. And, as you said, just living off those checkdowns to Austin Ekeler, it feels like it's not getting the best out of Justin Herbert. Talking of Austin Ekeler, another incredible fantasy season, finished as the RB1 overall in total fantasy points. You see the stats there on the screen. Absolutely incredible. Do you think that Austin Ekeler can repeat, can do it again and finish as a, let's not say RB1, but maybe another top 5 running back season out of him?
I think that's entirely possible. I mean, the big thing with Austin Ekeler is that he wasn't getting there by slamming into bodies all the time. He wasn't running through the tackles. And we know Austin Ekeler's a particularly tough guy. You see all the workout videos he does. He's a machine. But he wasn't anywhere close in terms of running back efficiency to where most of the other top running backs were. Where he got there was, 104 receptions, which were over 20 more than any other running back. He had a 63% opportunity share. And we talked earlier about the fact that Derrick Henry led the lead with 82%. So really, Ekeler wants to see some of that slog work where it's like just piling into bodies, because he wants to be there for the high value stuff. And if he can keep up the receptions and the touchdowns in PPR formats, that's all that's really going to matter for him to be a top 5 running back if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, it feels like he's got a very efficient, safe floor. Looking at the contract situation, they're all back for next year, but it is getting to that point. Mike Williams has got a year left. Gerald Everett's got a year left, could potentially be cut at the end of the year. Keenan Allen's getting to the point where the guarantees are running out on the contract. Austin Ekeler is, an absolute bargain, so I can't see the Chargers moving on from him until that contract runs out. But there's not much guaranteed money left in this skill position. Do you think that they could potentially make a big flash in free agency whilst you've got Justin Herbert on the rookie contract, whether it's, make a skill position splash in the draft and add some juice to this offense?
I think so. And I think that's the kind of thing which wouldn't surprise me at all, because it seemed like they wanted Josh Palmer to be able to take that step up. And early on in the season, his route running was really poor and he really didn't seem to be able to get open. And he's had games where he's flashed, but they need somebody who they can start to build around. Like you say, Mike Williams is getting slightly older in age. Keenan Allen, he's been an absolute stalwart in the league for ages. And he's been brilliant when he was healthy this year. I mean, when he returned in week 11, he had 10.3 targets per game for the rest of the season, which was the 5th most. He was the wide receiver 7 from week 11 onwards. So I think Keenan Allen can be fine. I think if you bring in a good, decent draft pick who's ready to hit the ground running, then there's no reason that Justin Herbert can't get back onto those kind of deep balls that he's been really good at. I mean, he was 25th in deep ball completion rate this season amongst quarterbacks who had 5 or more games. it just seems like that was the big area which was missing. And I really do believe that if they can solve that, then things will look a lot better.
Absolutely. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but if the Chargers manage to draft Kayshon Boutte, I may lose my mind.